Thinking about spending Groundhog Day in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania to see Punxsutawney Phil make his forecast? I've got some tips for you coming up. My name's Lincoln Riddle, and this is a travel channel, so if you're into that, consider subscribing. At the time of this recording, it's February 4th, which means Groundhog Day 2019 has just passed us. Groundhog Day occurs every year on February 2nd, and that's when Punxsutawney Phil, the prognosticating groundhog, makes his forecast at Gobbler's Knob in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, on whether we'll have 6 more weeks of winter or we'll have an early spring. Now, I have been fortunate enough to attend Groundhog Day at Gobbler's Knob, both in 2018 and in 2019. As a member of the media, and I gotta say, it is a very fun and unique event. I'm by no means an expert of it, but I do have a couple tips that I think will help you guys if you're planning on going. Now, my first tip is to book a hotel room early, and I mean that. This year, we stayed in Indiana, Pennsylvania. That's about 30 miles from Punxsutawney, and it was sold out. The hotel was sold out, and that was pretty common everywhere we looked. So get on those hotel rooms as soon as you know you can go. Now, my second tip is that you should know you won't be parking at Gobbler's Knob. You'll actually take a bus from Punxsutawney to and from the event, and I've never actually had to ride the bus myself, but I believe it cost about $5, and ticket booths for the buses open at 2 a.m. Groundhog Day morning. Now, that may change from year to year, I'm not really sure, so you can always go to groundhog.org and find out more information. Now, the actual event, once you're there, is free to get into. To follow that one up, even though Phil's pulled out at like 7:25, 7:30ish, you want to show up way early. Thousands upon thousands of people flock to Gobbler's Knob for this, and the festivities get started in the wee hours of the morning, like 3 a.m. For a couple hours, there's some singing and some dancing on the stage, and it's quite entertaining, but in that time period, Gobbler's Knob really starts to fill up. This year by 6 or so, it was jam-packed, and if you got there then, you'd be standing in the back. So my advice, the earlier you can get to Punxsutawney, park, get on a bus, and get up to Gobbler's Knob, the better. Now, you've probably heard it's cold, and believe me, it is very cold. Hand warmers will be your friends. You can stuff them in your gloves, stuff them in your shoes. You definitely want to bundle up, especially with some light winds, so single-digit teen temperatures, man, it can be brutal. But that's all part of the fun of seeing Punxsutawney Phil get pulled out. So, now my next tip is that there are porta potties at Gobbler's Knob, but I recommend using the restroom before you go up there, because remember, there's thousands upon thousands of people at Gobbler's Knob for this event, which means the lines for those porta potties start to get really long. Now, if you do get up there, the good news is that there are porta potties, but it also means you're gonna have to stand in line. So, if you do have to go, you start to know you're gonna have to go get in line. Don't wait until it's emergency, or else your day could be ruined. Now, after Punxsutawney Phil gets pulled out and he gives his forecast,
faithful followers, there is no shadow of me, a beautiful spring it shall be.
you're gonna head back to Punxsutawney. And in town there is a festival, there's lots of shops selling Groundhog Day merch, and there's restaurants. This year I got my wife a Groundhog beanie baby, and I also got a Groundhog Day puzzle, and I also got a Groundhog Day candle, just some random stuff, and the prices really weren't that bad. I think I only paid like 20 or 30 bucks total. And to follow that up, there's actually quite a few events up until and on Groundhog Day, so I definitely recommend checking those out, see if there's anything you wanna do to enhance your experience and trip. Now, if you're 21 or older, there is Groundhog Day beer, which you can get to commemorate your trip. This year we found it at a bar called The Burrow, which is located right in the heart of downtown Punxsutawney. I'm sure it's available elsewhere, of course, but that's just where we found it. And lastly, you can actually see Punxsutawney Phil at any time of the year. He lives in his burrow at the library in downtown Punxsutawney, and one of the walls is glass. You can always see him, and after you do that, you could go up to Gobbler's Knob, check out that stuff, and then come back down, have lunch, have dinner, go shop some Groundhog Day merch, and you can do this any time of the year. If you like this video, please leave a thumbs up and hit subscribe if you're new here. I post new travel videos every single Monday.